such a pleasure to be here again. My name is Ruth Wasserman Lande, CEO and founder of Ruth Innovative Global Advisory and former advisor to President Shimon Peres. In the Bokra Ulpan in Nazareth, it is an utmost pleasure to now take all of you to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates and to Dubai, and to introduce Yousif Ghanoum Alhameli and Sumaiiah Almheiri, electrical engineer and cultural and linguistic activist, my sister and my brother. Ahlan wa sahlan bikum. It is a great pleasure.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having us.
So it is a great pleasure to have you with us in Bokra, in Nazareth. And given that it is a very festive occasion, we have the holidays, the Christmas season, the New Year. We also have a very, very special occasion with the Abraham Accords that were recently signed and a normalization agreement between our two countries. In fact, we have a people-to-people kind of potential to get to know one another. It would be wonderful to hear your insight and take on that. Let's begin with you, Sumaiiah, please.
So I've been learning Hebrew on my own for a few months, even before the Abrahamic Accord, because it was a passion for me to learn the language. For me, reasons. One, which is I love to learn about new cultures, especially those that are not spoken about much. I have created the first platform for language exchange between Arabic and Hebrew in the Emirates, which started as a WhatsApp group and is now expanding. Once I got to know the culture and the people and lots of similarities between us in traditions and maybe even lots of similarities in religion also, and we all live in the same region. I really was happy to get to know them more, and I was on the first youth cultural delegation that was visited Israel just 2 weeks ago, and it was a fascinating experience. I have never experienced anything like it. I've met the people, I've met the youth, I've met Jews, Druze, and Bedouins of Israel. It was something that I always remember.
So, you know, I recently came back from Dubai, and as an Israeli diplomat who served in Egypt for 3 whole years, I completely understand what you're talking about. An experience that is really out of this world to come to the UAE on my side, for you to Israel and Al-Quds and you know, all the cities, and to experience the people that, although we are so close, the Semitic language and the culture and so on, and yet we were so far, and to first experience this first-hand experience. So I absolutely understand what you're talking about, Sumaiiah. Yousif, you have a little bit of a background which is connecting you perhaps to Israel, perhaps family background, perhaps an interest. Would you mind sharing that with us to kind of bring us closer to what it is that makes you interested? So Sumaiiah, just one more question to you. You know,
yes.
Tatbi'a or normalization, the people-to-people kind of opportunity that you speak about, until we get Yousif back online, holds in it, in fact, inherently unbelievable opportunities in business and in culture. Could you please elaborate? What do you see in store for the two people, both in the United Arab Emirates and Israelis, both Jewish and Arab?
I think this has opened huge opportunities, as you said, in business, and whatsoever. But also I think there's lots of where they can change medical expertise, educational expertise, like tourism and culture would expand more, because like these two nations have not known much about each other for so long, and lots of people are curious to see this new world that has opened in front of them. So yes, I mean, like, it is an amazing opportunity for both sides, especially like for either students, teachers, doctors, business people, even people who just want to explore and have an adventure, which I see amazing.
It is quite astounding, and in fact, I think that it will become easier as we go along when more and more Emiratis, in fact, visit this country. As we saw, there are plenty of Israelis already in the United Arab Emirates.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Sumaiiah, for your insights. Yousif, we're back to you. Hopefully, we'll manage to hear you now. I would love to hear a little bit about your personal connection to this Abraham Accord peace agreement, and perhaps a family, a kind of a intimate relationship that you have in terms of the people to people, the two nations. If you could please elaborate.
Yes, Ruth. Actually, it's been a while since we had the first connection with Israel. Especially, it was very personal to me because my deceased mom, she was around 2011 in Cyprus, and she suffered a severe heart condition, and the doctors there didn't recommend her to take any flight, even to Europe if it was closer, kind of. No more than 2-hour flight. It would be dangerous for her. So luckily, my father, he just met an Israeli citizen who came to Cyprus for a holiday, and very nice of him. He offered him that if I can give you an access to Israel, where your wife, speaking to my dad, that she can go there. Israel is not too far from Cyprus. It's about like 20 minutes flight or half an hour. And the altitude of the flight will not be so high, so it will not affect her condition. And there is a good hospital called Rambam Hospital, I think, in Haifa.
In Haifa, absolutely.
Yeah, and then they got the visas incredibly very quick. And I was worried.
And let's just mention to the audience that this was before the Abraham Accords was signed.
2011.
2011.
And when she arrived, of course, Israel was to me like just a black box. I didn't know what's there. I don't know how they will treat my parents when they arrive. I didn't expect anything. I was just worried. So I spoke to my mom. I remember when she took the taxi from the airport to the hotel, and I was like, how did they treat you? She said, they were very nice. Yousif, you won't believe it. It took me maybe from the plane outside, like my luggage, like 10 minutes. And the people were treating them very nice, and they were welcoming them. It was beautiful. And
so that was more or less your first.
I've been waiting for the experience. Yes, it was amazing. And she had the surgery. She had the time after the surgery to go around Israel. She went to the Holy Mosque in Jerusalem, and she prayed there, and it was beautiful. She had a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to visit Israel.
So, Yousif, thank you for sharing that very personal story. It's very touching, I think, for everybody that heard it. Let's bring us back to current situation. So the Abraham Accords have been signed, and a very big curiosity, as Sumaiiah has said, has erupted on both sides. Those people that have put the fears aside and suddenly want to know a little bit more about the nations and the people and the culture and everything. What do you see now in store? How do we make this relationship deeper, more correct, more, let's say, lucrative for both sides, both in terms of culture and perhaps business and economy-wise? I'll ask you first, Yousif, and then we'll go back to Sumaiiah.
Well, if you noticed, Ruth, when this Abrahamic Accord was signed, just before the signing ceremony in the White House, already agreements start to be like agreed and signed in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and there were a lot of mutual understanding happening all over the place. It was unbelievable. I mean, usually you have these things coming vice versa. You sign an agreement and then you start to work on these contracts. It was the other way around. So we are both nations equipped for this. Of course, the education sector, we have to embed the education of what are we and who are them. We have to work from the beginning, the first level, and media. I mean, we need to see more cooperation between the medias. We have to talk to each other more. Tourism, of course. I mean, wow, you can hear Hebrew all over the place in Dubai. I mean, it was unbelievable, you know. And health cooperation, since I gave you my personal story of what my mom went through and everything. Israel has one of the best hospitals in the world, the best doctors. Not because they just good at curing. They have the research, okay. They have the know-how. They have the resources. It's amazing. We have to work together. And both of us are very similar. Absolutely,
Yousif, thank you so much. You know, you mentioned learning from the beginning, learning the language, and you hear so much Hebrew in Dubai. One last thing I ask of actually both of you, that you've been learning Hebrew for a while. Perhaps if you can tell our audience, because our audience is predominantly Arab in this case, but if you can just say a little message in Hebrew, and then we bid you goodbye, but invite you to come visit us as soon as possible. Sumaiiah, could you just tell us one word, a small sentence in the beautiful Hebrew that you have?
אנחנו אוהבים אתכם, באו לדובאי.
בואו לדובאי. מומתaz, 100%. And Yousif, it's your turn. I'm not letting you go. You have to say one word, one sentence.
You know, why you do me, Ruth? Why you do this to me? אני לומד עברית כבר שלושה חודשים. So my Hebrew is ככה.
לא ככה. כל הכבוד, כולה לכולם. We hope to see you very shortly in Israel.
I would like to say one more thing. It's love between people that connect. It is love between people that connects us. The similarities between the people is what connects us. We see ourselves in other nations. So if we do not educate each other about our similarities, we will keep hanging on to the differences, and that's my message. Yep.
That's a beautiful message of peace and hope and togetherness, and inshallah 2021 will bring your words to reality. Thank you very much to both of you. My sister Sumaiiah, my
Amen.
brother Yousif. Ma'alf salama. Just saying goodbye here from the Bokra Ulpan, Ruth Wasserman Lande, former advisor to President Shimon Peres and CEO and founder of Ruth Global Innovative Advisory and Consultancy. It is an utmost pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you.